Danny joins us in Heron Lake, Minnesota. Danny, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Sure, how can I help?
I'm trying to figure out if I'm thinking that I need to leave my job because of exhaustion or if I'm actually unhappy at my job. So I'll give you a little background information. I'm a probation officer, and I work mostly with juveniles. I have some adults too, but mostly kids. And I'm also a mother. I have 3 kids, 4, 2, and 6 months old. So I don't know if working with the kids is exhausting me and making me miserable because I don't see any changes in them with the kids that I work with, or if I'm just tired from being a mom and all the things that come with having a family.
Right. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. It's interesting that you point out the kids. You didn't point out the adults. When you do probation officer work with the adults, are you seeing more positive results to your work?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you've nailed something. I think you feeling unhappy or exhausted, but I love how you framed it. You said, am I unhappy or exhausted? And I think it's a combo. The unhappy is, here I am pouring into these people and they're basically ignoring me. So if you're spending most of your time with young people in the probation system and you feel like nothing's sticking, that can be really frustrating. That's the equivalent of what they did to prisoners in prison camps. They would make them move a pile of rocks from one end of the camp to the other. And then when they did that, they moved it back and forth. That was the most excruciating torture, more so than physical torture, because nothing will kill a human spirit, Danny, like monotony and seeing no reason to the work. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, literally, prisoners would lose their minds because their entire day was, I'm picking up this rock and I'm moving it back over here. There's no reason at all for me to be doing this. There's no benefit. And that'll drive a person literally insane. And so I think that's a part of it. How much of your time, give me a percentage just off the top of your head, are you spending with young people versus adults?
I would say 95% of my time.
Oh gosh. Is that something where you could go to your leader and go, hey, I would prefer to work with adults, and they can go, oh, okay, well, we got a spot open, or we'll look to do that and we can do that? Or is that just, they have zero chance of you controlling that?
We're a 2-person office, so the only other person is my supervisor. So, I mean, I think that if I spoke with him, he would try to alleviate some of it. But I have spoken with him about it previously too. And
nothing's happened.
It just gets right.
Yeah, because here's the deal. Who else is going to take the cases? He has to.
Right.
Yeah, and he's the supervisor. What do you love most about the work? I want to find out what does make you happy.
Well, I've always wanted to work with kids. Even when I was in high school, that was the main focus of when I was choosing a career. So working with kids has always been something I've wanted to do. And so I feel like I am doing something that I obviously am passionate about. I like working with kids, but it just seems like I've worked at this job for almost 8 years, and I have some of the same kids on that I had 8 years ago.
Yeah. I think, you know what I think it is? I think you're mostly unhappy. I do think that there's probably some exhaustion there that's adding to your already busy plate of being a mom of 3. And I think it's the emotional exhaustion. So I think you're unhappy in the day-to-day work because you go, I'm not seeing any results. You're good at what you do, so you've got the talent to do it. You love the work of, what would you say, how would you describe your role in 3 to 5 words? A successful probation officer does what?
I think listen, motivates, and encourages.
Great. Love that. Love those 3 words. I'm taking you somewhere. All right. Now, and if you're doing that, Danny, and it's actually sticking, how fired up would you be during your day?
I don't think I would want to leave work if that's if I was having good results. Yeah.
Okay. So this is great. This is breakthrough for you. This is breakthrough clarity. I'm telling you, you need to be in a role where you're working with kids or younger people and you're doing those three things all day long. And they're actually receiving it. And I think in the probationary system, because these are kids that have been hurt deeply, I'm going to do a quick psychoanalysis. You tell me if I'm wrong. These are kids that are behind the eight ball in life and largely not due to their own fault, but then they've made some really bad decisions and it's compounded an already unbelievably horrific, painful life. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're at a point where they're so hurt and so confused, they don't want to listen to anybody. Am I right?
Right.
Okay. So where could you go where the kids are actually going to receive what you're doing? I think guidance counseling. I think potentially teaching, maybe coaching. I think your homework assignment is to identify multiple different places where you can do what you love to do with what you're really good at doing, and you see results because the kids are receiving your input into them. They want your investment, and you see the return on your investment. That's all that's missing. Because you not enjoying the gig right now is all about feeling like what you do doesn't matter at all. That's all it comes down to. My work doesn't matter. That's what you feel like. That's a killer emotionally. And that's tacking on top of all the exhaustion you have, just physical exhaustion of being a mom at 3. But you're strong. You're a super lady. You can do this. I think you're doing the right thing in the wrong place. That's what I think it is. If you took my should I quit my job quiz, I think you would come out, I'm doing the right thing in the wrong place, meaning investing in the young people, listening, motivating, guiding, cheering them on, whatever. The 3 words you used were wonderful. But you're doing it in a place where they're not receiving it. So you got to get over the place. So now it comes down to, all right, where are all the different places that I can do this? Well, those 3 things every day with young people, super simple. Where can I do it? What qualifications are necessary? So what do I need to learn and do? That's education and experience. You may not need any education, but you'll need some qualification. Do you already have it? Great. Let's just step over. If not, how long is that going to take me to get the qualification based on my finances? What's it going to cost? How long is it going to take? And then you're there, Danny. So there's a very clear path going forward. You are in stage 1 of my 7 stages. You're absolutely clear about what you want to do and why you want to do it. Now stage 2 is get qualified. Stage 3 is get connected. Stage 4 is get started. That's your path. And you got this.